Welcome to Football Focus UAE episode 11. We're back here at the Emirates Club in Ras Al Khaimah. A huge thank you for them for hosting, and thank you for Adele's for organising all. We're back to the league action. It's a huge week of league fixtures, relegation battles, top of the table clashes. Let's get to the action.
Okay, let's look at our first game. Ian is going to analyse our first game. Very interesting game, very surprise result, Ian. I think it surprised everybody. Khan, Al Jazira. What happened, Ian?
Well, a huge game on the East Coast. Khan fighting relegation, need the points. Al Jazira trying to keep up to date with Sharjah, so they obviously need the points as well. So it's important that both teams get 3 points. So as the game plays out now, well, like you said, it's a huge game for both teams. We'll see what happens. If you just pause it there for me, Tony. So if you just watch, going back to Bruno Lamas here, the Golden Boot, the top goal scorer last week, as he picks his ball up in midfield, there's no real pressure. No one's putting any pressure on him at all. He's been able to play this ball back into the other striker who just dropped off. And just watch his movements. If you play it on again, Tony, just watch his movement as he moves into this vacant area here. And nobody really goes with him. Just let it run out. Ball goes wide. Great little ball across. Keeper makes a decent save. And Lopez is just in the right place at the right time. So superb little goal there. But if we, as it rolls back on, hopefully we should come back to there. As you can see, Lopez in the right place at the right time. Just stabs it with his left foot. But if you just pause it there, Tony, for a minute. Just want to go back to that initial point where Lamas has picked that ball up in midfield and he's had, 10 yards of free space to drift into. Nobody's gone with him. He just plays an easy pass out and goes again. And that's the problem with the defensive midfielders, just aren't there picking players up. We saw that again from last week.
I really don't know what happened to Al Jazira. Maybe they came with this mentality, this is a foregone conclusion, it's a 3-pointer for us guaranteed. When I watched the game, it seemed like that to me, and I don't know about you. And it was only right at the end, at the start. Picking the game up.
Good point there, because as we go on later on, you'll see that attacking sharpness from Al Jazira just isn't there. But yeah, if you just play it on, we'll see. Have a look at the next bit of action. But yeah, great finish from Lopez. So again, Lamas here, he's got unbelievably brilliant left foot.
You can't give that kind of man space.
And Lopez should have done a little bit better there. He's obviously favoured his left foot. He's probably got his cut back inside and put on his right. But to give him that amount of space is ridiculous.
Well, it's the man in form at the moment, isn't it?
But there, I think we'll just let that run out again. I think we should have another replay of this one. Let's just see if it comes through. Here we go. Just pause it there. So
I thought it was a penalty, and I thought it was a stone wall.
Well, I think in real time it did look like it, but when it slows it down, he just trips over his feet. And I just think we talked about that killer instinct. He's got to be looking to put the ball in the back of the net. I think he was looking for he was waiting for the defender. He was waiting for that tackle, waiting for them to challenge him and put him down. And he didn't really come. He just thought, well, I've given up the opportunity now. I'm not in a position to score because I thought the challenge was going to come. Then he's just fallen down. So that's, again, Paul, it's that killer instinct that's not there.
No. Would you like me to carry on?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, well, sometimes VAR does help, and I think it really helped there.
Loose ball given away from Khan. And again, Al Jazira striker driving forward, puts pressure on, and nothing really. He's running down the brick wall there. Really, much to go, but you expect more from him there.
Good bit of defending though.
And again, Khan pick up the Lopez, nice little ball down the line. Great ball across, and there's our main man. Boom, top corner.
As I like to say, in top corner, top class.
Yeah, just
he's a man in form at the moment. Bruno Lamas. He's playing some phenomenal.
Just pause this here for me, Tony. Now, as he picks that ball up there, super. This is brilliant forward play from the striker. As he's brought that down on his chest, ball's come out, and then Lamas is just absolutely drilled. It's a completely different goal to last week. That one where he's come across the floor and he's whipped it with his left foot. This one's in the air. Technically very, very difficult. He's done so well to keep it down. And then just to fire in the top corner.
You can see he got his foot nicely over the top and caught it sweetly, didn't he?
Yeah, just play it on for me, Tony. Thank you. Look at that.
As I always say as well, Ian, 2 goalkeepers couldn't have stopped that.
Absolutely brilliant.
Caught it, got his laces.
But again, he was given room at the top of the 18-yard box, where he shouldn't have been, which is causing pressure. Sorry, Tony, just pause it there. Al Jazira. So at this stage, Al Jazira, Khan 2-0 up. Okay, and they tend to, what happens is they set into that default mode. I'm winning 2-0. We want to keep possession. We want to win the game.
It's a proclivity
so
with teams.
So we drop back.
Yeah,
we just defend. And as the Al Jazira picked the ball up here, the back four right across here, so deep, inviting them on, because we don't want to give away a goal, we don't want to go, so we've got to sit back and
even the midfield. Look at the midfield.
Yeah,
it's so deep.
They've got to be so much higher, put pressure on here. Then that creates compactness here. There's nowhere for them to go. So by them sitting back, it invites them on. And
they're a dangerous team. Ahli could play like that,
and it gives them the opportunity to score. So just actually see opportunity to score, but again.
I found Elimab Cuddy, and I don't know about you, I just found he was taking too many touches today.
Yeah.
He wanted the perfect goal to me.
Yeah, and that's again, better line for the back four, ball's given away, and then obviously the guys just drive forward. Lopez is a man on form, he's composure,
he's in a rich form.
Superb finish. I think that's his 8th goal. Yeah. Corsican have only scored 14 goals as a team. He scored 8 of them.
He's been brilliant here.
Timed his run perfectly, great ball across. No real effort. This defender's trying his hardest to get back, the other one's not.
But technically did his perfect run in front of him.
Beautiful. So the defender can't challenge him there, that's a penalty and a red card. He can't, and just
took it well.
Brilliant, superb goal.
And what a fantastic result here for Corsican. I mean, a result that's nobody predicted.
Well,
we predicted an easy Al Jazira win.
Well, it should have been really 3-0 the other way, and it wasn't. And Corsican deserved the win, but like we were saying before, adding up to some of the others, the sharpness just wasn't there. They just weren't up for it.
No. I think they went with that mentality. This is a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
Their preparation didn't look, and they weren't that high pressing game that we're used to seeing with Ahli and Al Jazira. It was a disappointing loss, and they've kind of Sharjahs will look later on here and have kind of created a little bit of a gap now.
Yeah.
Al Jazira have some catching up to do.
We're just looking very quickly at some stats there. Al Jazira had 67% possession.
I saw that. Yeah.
And they've done nothing with it.
No.
The chances they created were half chances. They weren't really clear-cut chances. They had 560 odd passes compared to 250 odd from. So they've dominated. They've had 11 shots. Corsican had 13 shots, 5 on target. Al Jazira only managed 2 on target.
They were a lot more positive.
They were more dynamic. They were more positive. They wanted to score goals. Where Al Jazira were quite happy just passing the ball around without any impact, which was poor. And like I say, Al Jazira remains second, 5 points behind Sharjah now.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a gap. I think they're missing Al-Mouri, still injured at the moment, and they need that playmaker. Yeah. For games like this, it needs a little bit of magic.
It does.
Somebody to grab the, as we say in English, to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and do something, and they didn't have that player today.
Yeah, and that was Corsican's 4th win of the season.
Yeah, so they won for Fajr, that big 6-pointer last week.
Yeah, so it's been a good 2 weeks for them.
It is, and Ramon, he's looking fantastic.
8 goals.
Alright, let's move on to our next game. The next game we're going to look at today is Iman versus Fajr. And to me, this was a massive game for both Iman and Fajr, Ian. It was the classic 6-pointer, and Ian always likes to say it's an FA Cup game every week for Iman.
Cup final.
And Fajr. I mean, Fajr are on 7 points, Iman on 3. If Iman win, they're 1 point behind Fajr, and it drags Fajr down into that relegation battle. If Fajr win, it gives them quite a bit of breathing space. And we predicted all along that we feel Iman and Hatta were the bottom of the table, are the 2 teams to go down. And I predicted also the manager, Iman, will be the next casualty in the Pro-League. But I'm going to have to change my mind here, because Iman made a couple of fantastic signings. And what happened here, and I was commentating on the game, Fajr came with this game plan, and they weren't prepared for these 2 new signings. One from Brazil, I forget, he's an African player, but they're in the 30s, they've been around the park, they know what they're doing, and they're being brought in to kind of steady the ship, to get them necessary wins. And the attacking midfielder, Diego Jardel, he came in, and he made a big difference. And the striker who came in, he scored, both of them scored goals. And I've got to say, Ian, it was a cracking game, but it was a game, the classic cliche of 2 halves. Iman were by far the better team. They looked a completely different team, Ian. They came out attacking. The problem with Iman, I was talking to a good friend of mine, he said that their weakness has always been their midfield. They have this problem of this combination of play, pass, support. What they normally do, they play a 4-3-3. And he told me that they have 3 attackers, so the midfield, when they get the ball, they've got 3 players to aim for. Instead of this play, pass, support, they're better off just passing it. And if they've got 3 options, the 3 attackers. But they came in with a different system. They played a 4-4-2 because of this new attacking midfielder, Diego Jardel, who came in. He brought a little bit more stability, a bit more creativeness into the game, and you can see that by watching this game. And I've got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed commentating it. I enjoyed the game because the second half for Jazira, when they knew what they were doing, changed their tactics, and they were a better team in the second half. But let's have a look. We'll start first of all. So Iman came straight out of the blocks, on fire, and they just came with this mentality, we're going to win. And in the first half, that's what they did. You can see, I forget the name of the attacker, you'll have to forgive me. But you can see, I'll tell you another problem with it as well. The first chance came because of a mistake. And it's Taeyeon, and to me, he won't sleep well. Well, he'll sleep okay, because if you can pause that, Ian, the problem with Taeyeon there is it was a really good opportunity and he missed. But Iman came out with more like an Al Jazira mentality. As soon as they lost the ball, they went straight for the players, that high pressing game you talk about, Ian, where they lose the ball and they quickly get on top of the players to try and win the ball back, and which creates opportunity. And interestingly, Ian,
just trying to put
it was that mentality that won them the game, because it was 2 mistakes by Fajr that got the goals for Iman. And it was early doors. You can see the first chance was a mistake by the defender. He gets the ball and it's straight on top of him. And this is the new player, Diego. And because of the high pressing, if we can carry on, Ian, they end up losing the ball.
I think just to add to that, on that high press, the pressure this guy, like you're saying, the high press, the pressure this guy puts on this guy
to do something with the ball quickly.
He just can't.
And he just can't.
There.
And he wins the ball, and this is within the first few minutes, and Taeyeon should have done better there. I mean, he is playing well, and he'll be disappointed with that. But again, if you look at it, here's another chance. This is a new striker. And this was all in the first. I mean, there were other opportunities. They were constantly attacking. But you notice, as soon as they lost the ball, Iman was straight on in the faces. And here we can see, I think this is the first goal on another opportunity. This is Diego passes the ball to the 2 debutants. Diego passes it to the striker. Now carry on here. This is a goal. I mean, fantastic goal. A man with experience, chests it down, volleys it, top corner, top class. What a lovely goal. And you can see as a player with it, got his back to the defender, chests it down, turns, and technically it was an excellent goal. And I don't know what you think. You have another
well, I'm just going to say that exact same thing. The strength that he has here to hold the defender off, bring the ball down, but not just bring it down anywhere. He brings it down in a position where then you can turn and hit it first time. You know, that's an unbelievable skill in itself.
And technically it's excellent, and it shows to me an experience. They brought somebody who was an experienced striker.
You would think most people would just bring the ball down back here and then look to play somebody else in turn. He's not. As the ball's come in, he's played it to the angle, so he can just turn and just hit it first time, and that's the difference.
Yeah, and you can see
absolute class.
It really is. And
look at that, the angle.
Caught it beautifully. I mean, like Bruno Lamas. And then look at another mistake here. The pressure. This is the new player, the debutant Diego. Drops his shoulder, goal past the defender. What a cracking goal that was. Again, this is what he's been brought in to do. This is what Iman lacked in the midfield. Get the ball and quickly get it to the striker. Not this man. Look, bad first touch. He's on top of him immediately. Drops his shoulder, past the next defender, hand down, and he just rifles it into the bottom corner. Now, Jazira know what Iman are going to do. They came out with a different mentality, different tactics, and they were the better team in the second half. And it was all for Jazira. And Iman, disappointingly, Christian Samuel had 2 or 3 chances. Iman disappointed, went to that, we were talking, if you just pause it there, Ian. We were saying these teams, when they go 2-0 up, they have this tendency just to, let's sit back, let's park the bus, as we say in English, and defend our lead. They don't carry on playing the way they did, and this is what happened with Iman. I don't know if they were nervous or they just didn't want to lose. I mean, in the first half, you should have seen the whole 45 minutes. They were excellent. But then Fajr came out, and they were the better team by far. And Christian Samuel scored in the cup. He had 2 or 3 really, really nice chances to score. He just didn't take them in. You know, he's struggling a little bit. He started off well, but if he can just carry on, this is another opportunity. I mean, if you listen to my commentary, I'm saying I thought it was a goal. How he missed it, I really don't know. And then this is the penalty. I mean, it's a stonewall penalty. I mean, Ian, we don't even need to talk about it. You can see clearly he's got his arm, but I don't know what he's doing with his arm. It looks like he hit it down. And Iman, but disappointed it was in the 93rd minute, a bit too late. And Iman went out to claim their first win of the season. And watch his space. I've changed my mind. I think Iman might even overtake Fajr and come in, because with them 2 new signings, and Trawale, I think they look a far better team. I just hope they don't go back to this park in the bus here.
But even just from that short highlights, you can see that they seem to be better set up in terms of the midfield, and defence seems to be a lot closer. They're a lot more compact. You know, when teams are attacking them, it's hard to break them down. Yeah, we've got to try and get out of this mentality of sitting back and parking the bus, because they've done so well playing the way they have to score 2 goals.
Really?
And then suddenly say, right, we're going to sit back, which then invites the teams to come on and on and on.
And get them on the break.
And to hold on for 45 minutes is too long.
Yeah, it is.
The last 10 minutes, I'm fine, no problem at all. But carry on playing the way you're doing. Like I said before, could be confident. They're not used to being in these positions. They're not used to winning. They're not used to getting 3 points. So what do we do? Yeah. And you kind of, the automatic default is we'll just get everyone back, and hopefully we can just hang on and get 3 points. But
I think this could be the springboard to their season, and if, like you said, if they carry on playing like that, they do look at a far better side. It reminds me of Bruno Fernandes for Man United. He came and he changed the mentality, changed the way they play. I think these 2 players have done that for Iman, what I saw. Yeah. Let's hope they can do better. Yeah, alright, let's move on to our game. Okay, let's move on to our next game. Shabab Ahli versus Al Nassr, the biggest game of the week, without a shadow of a doubt.
Huge game. Obviously, Al Nassr still wanting to keep in touch with the big boys. They need 3 points to keep in touch, and then obviously Shabab, the draw specialists, need to start winning. So if we just pause that very quickly back there. Great start, great opportunity from Shabab. They look as a team and sort of they've got a bit between the teeth. They want to score goals. And Al Nassr, we focused on the last couple of weeks, obviously having the best defence in the league. Last 2 weeks or so, they've been a little bit shaky.
Leaky, yeah.
And it just showed there, we probably got a little bit too far forward, but they're just sitting back a little bit too deep. The ball's right up here, and suddenly they've pushed a little bit too far, probably 10 yards too deep, which has then allowed the shots to come on. In terms of their setup, it's a superb line, they're in a straight line, you've got the defensive midfielders in the way, but I would like to see the defenders on the 18-yard box, these guys another 5 yards forward, so then this shot's not going to come in because it's too far away.
Yeah, it's going to take something special to beat. The goalkeeper is a fantastic goalkeeper.
And as you can see, makes a superb save. And as we run the play in here, so it was an entertaining game. It was entertaining end-to-end stuff. There was some good football.
2 good teams playing.
But again, Shabab have got a strong defensive outfit now, and they were forcing shots from outside the box, putting pressure on them, making it very, very difficult for Al Nassr to score. And as you can see now, very well set up, bank of 4, 2 players in front of them, making it very, very tough. And the chances that are being created are only half chances, which makes it,
I think the manager's got him playing the way he wants now. You can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as this ball comes in, too much time, the midfielder's got too much time in there just to hold on to it. Long ball in, and then here, got to deal with it. Cannot let that bounce. Can't let it bounce. That's defending 101. He's got to put that straight out. He doesn't. He makes a token effort to get back, and there's the goal. And it's come from this position out here.
And the new signing, isn't it? It's a new signing, this guy, isn't it?
Al-Ghassani.
I mean, he had nobody there. I mean, I was going to mention that to you. What happened to the Al Nassr defence? I mean,
as you can see here,
is that him?
There, straight through the middle. Just goes straight through. As we come in here, look, they're reasonably well set up. But he's here now. He's looking at him, and then he just loses the ball, just loses his focus. And again, there, the ball's given away. Shabab were definitely the team they wanted to win. And for the first time, really, Al Nassr weren't on it defensively. Getting a half chance, guy at the top of the 18-yard box not being picked up. But then again, poor defending by number 4. He can't let the ball bounce.
He should have done
and
better.
then he did a good save, but he's had to hit it out the goalkeeper. Yeah, and then towards the end of the game, last 10 minutes, Shabab well in behind the ball, making it difficult for them, getting back quickly, which is good to see. And again, the shots are coming from outside the 18-yard box. And if you look at the amount of Shabab players behind the ball, and they're attacking at pace, which is good to see.
He's got them playing well. I think they look like the team that the season where they should have won the league before COVID-19. They look like the old team.
Just pause that. Just let it run on a little bit, see if we can get a replay of that one. Don't think we will.
That's a no signing.
That's the end. But like we said there, he's only been with them for 2 or 3 weeks. But they're playing really good football. They're not giving away goals. They look at force going forward. They attack at pace. They've got a purpose. There's a game plan. And I don't know whether Al Nassr are just looking a little bit tired.
Yeah, I don't know. We predicted it won't be a high scoring game with these two defences, and like we said, Robert might disagree, but I think this new manager has been a good signing for them.
Yeah, he looks very good, doesn't he?
Emirati Al Mahdi, is he called? And he's a very experienced. We were talking about it earlier. National team coach. This guy, he knows all the players, the young players. He knows the right players, and he's got a way he wants them to play, and you can see that they're starting to play like the old Shabab Al-Ahli, I do believe. There was never
an issue with Shabab, was there, in terms of the defensive play. They're always compact, they've always got players behind the ball, you can see that then. So defensively, they've got that mastered, it was just scoring the goals. But you can see the intensity there, they're wanting to score goals, they're wanting to get up the field quickly, putting pressure on, and creating chances, and that's the difference. That's the difference that he's made coming in. He's made them more attractive going forward.
Okay, thanks for that, Ian. Okay, let's move on to our next game here. We're going to look at Hatta versus Ahli. I mean, we always say every week, I'm sorry, you're going to have to live with this. We call them the whipping boys, Hatta. And I've got to say, after watching this game and the last few games of Hatta, they do look a better side.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not laying goals in as much. The defence looks better, but it's that problem. They haven't brought a striker in here.
No.
And they're just not scoring the goals. And if you watch this game, I don't know, Alain reminded me a little bit of Al Jazira. And if Hatta had got their scoring boots on, they would have won. They really would. They had more chances, even though Alain had more of the possession. I was looking at the stats. Alain had over 65% of the possession. They had 13 corners compared to Hatta's 4. They had double the amount of passes, and 80% of them were accurate passes. The crosses, they had 35 crosses, Alain, compared to 12 from Hatta. They had 14 shots, Alain, on goal compared to Hatta's 6. But again, the best chances did fall to Hatta, and they just didn't put them away in. And it was disappointing. It was good for Alain. I think they turned up with the same mentality as Al Jazira. We're going to win this game. It's a foregone conclusion. Hatta at the bottom of the table, the whipping boys. It's a certain 3-pointer, and they had to hang on in the end, Alain. And I've got to say, it wasn't a good game to watch. And we spoke about Alain. They more have a European way of playing, that high pressing game. But I don't know what happened to them. But they won, and sometimes you have to grind out a result when things are not going well, Ian.
3 points to 3 points at the end of the day, aren't they? But like you said, they've not played well, and Hatta, the new manager coming in, Vladimir, had an absolutely huge job to do, didn't he? Didn't look like a team. They just looked like 11 individuals on the pitch and didn't know what they were doing. Now they actually look like a team.
They do, they really do.
Which is
just can't score.
Real good testament to him, and actually the players, they've responded well to him.
They look fitter, they look stronger.
Obviously scoring goals is a big problem.
They really need to bring somebody in to bring that 10, 15 goals at least.
Yeah.
They just haven't got it.
No.
I mean, when it comes to goals, they concede nearly more goals. Ajman, I think, are number 1, Hatta number 2, and they've scored the fewest goals in the league. It's obvious where they need to, and they've got till the 4th of February to bring in a striker. Let's hope they do that. So, Alain returned to the winning ways. 1-0 victory against Hatta at the Hamdan bin Rashid Al Maktoum Stadium. Salim Abdullah netted the winner in the 43rd minute. It was interesting because the commentator, Pedro, a good friend of mine, I thought it was Lava whose return. But it was like a cross come shot. It went through everybody's legs. Lava jumped over it, Ian, like this, Ian.
Yeah.
And it went through 2 legs of the defender. The goalkeeper just looked and the ball was in the back of the net. It was a A strange goal.
Well, I think the keeper was expecting Labbers to do a little touch, didn't he? He didn't.
And then the two defenders.
And then he's just gone and that's it.
It was a strange goal. There weren't many chances after that. If the best chances fell to Hatta, as again, to me, they should have won the game. So the Boss are now 23 points in 5th place, while Hatta remain winless on 2 points at the bottom of the table. I'm not going to say much more, Ian, as I always like to say, it's not something to write home about, to be honest.
I think from Hatta's point of view, it's a shame that the manager wasn't in place at the start of the season, because we can see progress already, and it's only been probably a month. But you know, good signs. I think unfortunately they are going to go down. They're not going to be able to turn it around.
Absolutely.
But it's good signs for next season.
If
they stay with that manager, he'll get them organised. If he can bring in a striker or two, there's no reason why they can't come straight back up.
Absolutely. Let's hope we keep on to it. All right, let's move on to our next. Okay, let's look at our next game here. What game are we going to be looking at?
We've got Al Dafa versus Al Wasl. And a good game, entertaining game. It finished 1-1. Watching the game, you would expect more goals. There were lots of chances for both teams, but
mid-table clash, and Al Dafa got no manager, Mohammed Kawi.
Yeah, interesting one.
He used to be the manager in 2015-16, left under controversial.
Yeah, so they brought him back, hopefully to.
He's an excellent manager, Syrian. Yeah. Fantastic manager.
But it's been a strange season for both teams. Al Dafa started extremely well, and they just seem to have faded a little bit, just dropped off. And Al Wasl just very, very inconsistent. So, you know, guys out there, tell us why. Why do we think Al Wasl are inconsistent? Why have Al Dafa dropped off? You know, they started so well. They've got a new manager in now. You know, you tell us.
Yeah, because I mean, to me, Al Wasl have got one of the best teams on paper here. Yeah. I mean, they brought some fantastic new signings, and Jao Figueiredo.
Yeah,
he called. He looks really
good player.
I've got him in my fantasy team, by the way. But I don't know. It's just a strange season for these two teams.
Yeah, it's
what happened in the game anyway. Yeah.
Like I said, it's entertaining. Lots of goalmouth action. Al Wasl had the majority of chances.
I think the goalkeepers were the man of the match.
Yeah, they both played well. You know, they're very, very different goalkeepers in their own way in terms of their sort of presence and how one is a decent collecting the crosses, and one is more of a shot stopper. So both very different goalkeepers in their own way, but were very good and very effective. Al Wasl conceded a scrappy goal. Again, it was one of these balls that was knocked into the box. It wasn't cleared. They allowed it to bounce, and then suddenly Al Dafa and players got on the end of it and just knocked it in the back of the net. Yeah. It could have really gone in a way. So it was scrappy. It was disappointing to see, because you know, they've been defending pretty well. And then, really, Al Dafa's last ditch defending kept them in the game. They were what we mentioned previously, where teams turning the back on the ball.
They threw the bodies on.
They did everything. They threw the bodies on the line. They were prepared to take injuries. They were prepared to take blows. They did everything they could to get that draw. And it was really, really nice to see.
Well, they've got some good defenders. And Masoud Suleiman, he's Emirati, plays for the national team. They have got a good, solid defence.
But it was nice to see them playing as a unit, playing together and doing that for the common cause. You know, they were prepared to put the bodies, like we said, on the line. And in terms of stats-wise, Al Wasl 62% possession, 19 shots, 8 of those on target, compared to Al Dafa 6 shots, 1 on target, which they scored. So Al Wasl, I think, will come away from that feeling disappointed. That they should have won the game, but it was thanks to Al Dafa's last-ditch defender that kept him in it, really.
Yeah, good. All right, well, thanks for that, Ian. We're going to move on to our next game. We're going to look at Sharjah versus Kalba. I mean, we spoke about this game. Kalba are having a phenomenal season. They've been the surprise package of the season, and they haven't lost since November. Was it early November?
Early November, yeah.
So they're on a fantastic run, and even against the big boys of the league, they've done really well. And this was a big game. It was against Sharjah, at Sharjah, and it was a real test for Sharjah. And I've got to say, they came out and they took the game. And it's given a little bit of space between the teams that are just below them. But Kalba, I've got to say, Ian, they played really well, even though Sharjah had the lion's share of the possession. They had 63%. They had nearly double the amount of passes. They did dominate. They had 13 shots compared to Kalba's 8. And you know what? Sometimes you need somebody to step up the game, and it was a goalkeeper. He did the business for Sharjah, Al-Hoshani. What a fantastic game. I mean, he made 2 or 3 absolute crucial saves for the team. My cameraman's just saying our screen's lost. But what I'll do, I'll get my cameraman to put the highlights in there for you. Okay. But yeah, it wasn't much to write home about, Ian. There wasn't a mega amount of chances. These are 2 strong teams defensively, athletically. They're both well organised. The managers have got them playing well. But end of the day, I think Sharjah deserved the win. They just edged it. I don't like saying that because I like Kalbabi. I've watched him a few times. And you know what? Sometimes it takes a little bit of magic or a little bit of luck. I remember Alex Ferguson said, I'd rather be a lucky manager than a good manager. And it was a little bit of luck that got Sharjah. It was Shukurov. He did it from outside the box. It was deflected off the defender and went in the goal. And that's what won the game. A lucky deflected shot. But looking at the game, watching the game, Sharjah did deserve it. And they look, I've got to say, Ian, they look like a team that's going to win the league. They look like the team that won it when they won it and went on that. Yeah. They nearly became the Invincibles or the Immortals when they nearly went the season unbeaten. They're looking like that team again. Strong, athletic, well organised, and a good team. And even though I'm still going with Al Jazira, if anybody's going to take it off Al Jazira, it will be Sharjah.
Well, I was just going to say that before this weekend's games, you would say Al Jazira were playing good football, they were creeping up on Sharjah. Sharjah had a couple of dodgy games, so I was thinking perhaps Al Jazira.
Yeah, going to Ahli, you're thinking 3-pointers.
Definitely. So now, we're obviously losing to Khor Fakkan. Sharjah getting that win against Kalba, which we know are tough. I think Sharjah are getting in the box seat, but it'd be interesting to hear from people out there, Al Jazira fans, Sharjah fans, who's going to win the league.
I'm going for Al Jazira to win the league. You know, they've got some great players. Al-Modi when he comes back. They've got Ahli Kut, one of the best players in the league. Omar Abdul Rahman. I do really believe they're the team. But
big problem for Al Jazira is though they haven't got Coronado and they haven't got Wellington. Yeah. And they're the 2 that's going to win the league.
I disagree with you. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah,
no, well, okay. We'll see. We'll see in the 14 weeks.
See if I'm going to be eating my words. Well, let's move on to the next game, the last game here. Okay, let's look at our last game here. Al-Wahda versus Banyas, a local derby. And I remember we were talking about Al-Wahda. They're a team about 3 or 4 years ago. They were always challenging for the league. They were always up there, but recently they've lost their way and they had a big game against Fajr, which they won. It kind of got them up there, but then what happened here? I mean, saying that, Banyas.
Well, yeah, you say that. Al-Wahda played really, really well, but lost. You know, they lost 2-0. Banyas are playing some really good football.
But was it a local derby that we always say was it a classic local derby?
Not so much. Not to the traditional sense you would say in England. Out here it had a little bit of spice. There was a little bit of bite, but in terms of possession-wise, Al-Wahda had the majority of possession, 65%. Passes 528, crosses 25, wow. Shots 12. Only one of those shots was on target.
So that's the problem then, isn't it?
That's a huge problem. Banyas 13 shots, 6 of them were on target.
And João Pedro scored again. I think that's the difference. They've got a striker, Banyas, this season.
They've got João Pedro, who is probably one of the most complete strikers inside that 18-yard box. Once he's inside that 18-yard box, he just doesn't miss, and that's the difference. He does all his work inside there.
Whether it's a head, left foot, right foot, he can do it.
The last 2 weeks, his goals were sort of almost carbon copies. He just wants it so much more.
You saw when he ran in, didn't he? He get out of the way, get out of the way.
Anything he possibly can to get on the ball.
It was a little bit lucky, wasn't it? A little bit of a deflection, and it kind of fell nicely for him.
Yeah, I think it did a little bit.
Just a little flick off.
But his energy, his desire,
is there, isn't he?
He just wants to score goals, and he very, very rarely misses, and that's the difference. And he has propelled them into 3rd place now.
Yeah.
And
he's been the difference.
They didn't have that. We said them when we first started. Banyas were on fire. They were on this crest, and suddenly they've fallen away, and they're coming back again. If they hadn't had that drop in the middle of this first half of the season, I think they would be well up there. So they're certainly the team to watch, and they're playing some really, really good football. Pedro's scored 10 goals so far this season.
Yeah, Daniel's going to play well.
It's going to be interesting to see who's going to get that golden boot. Will it be Wellington? Will it be Pedro?
No,
It's going to be
well.
Possibly Coronado if they get the penalties. Yeah. So it's between them and it. But I think, again, let's hear from you guys out there. Is it going to be Wellington? Is it going to be...
Ian's going to go for Wellington. I'm going to go for João Pedro or Ali Mapkut.
Or what about Corfacan Lopez? 8 goals so far already.
Yeah, he's looking. Ramon is looking very, very tasty at the moment. He's on a rich frame of form, and he looks a very good striker. We'd love to hear your comments. Give us some comments. Tell us who you think is going to be the top goal scorer, win the Golden Boot. Is he?
Golden Boot, but I think it's good, isn't it? You know, we're seeing now that with Corfacan beating Al Jazira, suddenly they're moving out.
Yeah, well, they beat Fajr away last week before.
So with Ashman winning, so the bottom of the table is getting a little bit closer. Top of the table is close as well now. So we've got where we thought potentially those two were going to go down. Hatter and Ashman were definitely going down, and it was going to be between Sharjah and Al Jazira. Now we've got Banyas creeping in there. We've got Corfacan moving away. Jazira dropping down.
It really has been an interesting season, Ian, and I'm looking forward to when we pass the halfway mark now. It's getting really, really, really interesting. We've got the Super Cup coming up this week. We're going to make our prediction, and then we've got the second leg of the Arabian Gulf Cup, and that's where the big boys will come out. We'll see who'll get to the semi-final. So we've got some interesting games coming up, something really to look forward to this season, Ian. And for us, it's going to be a nice pack. We're going to have a special a show next week. We're going to be concentrating on the Super Cup. But before we do, we'd like to know your predictions. Who you think is going to win the Super Cup? The Super Cup is the winner of the President's Cup versus the league winners. So Sharjah versus Al Nassr. 2 big teams, 2 rivalries, 2 Emirates. So it's only a one-off game. It'll be something to look forward to. Yeah, we're going to give our predictions and our analysis next week, and Ian will be giving a very good in-depth analysis on that.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I think I think Sharjah will win it. I think it'll be a tough game. I think Sharjah possibly 2-1.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going with Al Nassr because they're good cup winners. Not because I don't like Sharjah. I think Sharjah are a better team, but this is a cup game. It's not the league, and they come out with a different mentality. So I think Al Nassr, they won the cup, President's Cup. They know how to win cups, and they'll produce the goods this time. Okay. I'm going for a 2-1 win. What's your score? Did you say 2-1
Sharjah?
Wow. Let's see, guys. I totally disagree with you. What do you think? Give us your predictions. It would be really nice. Okay, let's have a look at the top of the table. What do you think? We've got it there. Sharjah got a little bit of breathing space. I mean, Al Jazira got to win 2 and Sharjah got to lose 2. Can you see that happening?
No, to be honest, they can't. Sharjah are just grinding out results, aren't they? Yeah. Like we said, last week or this week they played really well and took 3 points. The previous couple of weeks they've not played particularly well, but got the points.
That's right. When they're not playing well, they seem to grind out a draw. They're just not losing, are they?
No. Whereas Al Jazira losing to Corfacan, that's a huge result.
I mean, I really don't understand that. But it'll be an interesting game when they play against each other.
Yeah.
That'll be a big game. So I'm looking forward to it. And then, as you mentioned earlier, Banyas, they're coming up there, aren't they? It's a surprise package. Al Nassr is still in there. What do you think to Shabab Al Ahli and Alain? Any chance?
I think 10 points. I don't think so. I think Alain, like you talked about, I think last week or the week before, they're going through this transition period. They're bringing a lot of youth. I think they won't have that consistency because the new guys coming in won't know how to finish games off. You know, this is all new to them. So I think they'll be very much, their results will be up and down. So one week they'll be very, very good. One week they'll be a bit inconsistent. But whereas Shabab, there's potential. They could definitely get there. Like I said, we're only halfway through the season.
Yeah, so I think it'll take a miracle for them, but they're there. I remember talking to the cameraman Ahmed, our cameraman, his brother Mohammed, is a big Alain fan, and he believes the Alain fans. He was telling me they accept him this season as to prepare for next season. That's when he said, "Watch out for Alain next season. They're bringing all the young players in. They're going to do the business."
But I think if Elaine could finish fifth, fourth or fifth, that's a great season for them for reasons we just talked about. Banyas are looking good, but it's those top two, isn't it? It's Sharjah and Al Jazira.
Okay, let's look at the bottom of the table. I mean, it's changed, hasn't it? Look at Iman and Fajr now. Korfagan, they have got 7 points difference. I think they're okay. I really do. Fajr they need a win.
Yeah.
Because they are playing well. They've got a good manager, an experienced manager, Goran. He came from Korfagan. Maybe he's kicking himself now. What do you think to that? Fajr, I don't know. Last few games, they seem a second half team. I saw them against Al-Wahda. They were rubbish tactically in the first half. Second half, they were brilliant. It's like they're playing Ian, and the first half, they're weighing up the team. They're just trying to hold on to the lead, and then the second half, they change the tactics, and they're a better team. They need to do it in two halves for Jada, they really do. And they have this tendency to, when they start the game or the second half, they're just half asleep. I don't know how to explain it. I really
no, it's strange, isn't it? And I know that from the teams on that East Coast, Fajr especially, that the Sheikh is heavily involved. He's a big football fan. He won't be happy with their performance and where they're at, and they need to improve quickly. And
they need to win here. I think they're playing well. They just need to win. They just seem to have lost that way of winning. How to win a game, how to win and put it to bed.
And the two new signings from Ashman are really good. They've sort of inspired the team and ignited them. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be tough for them, for Ashman. But it's where 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we said absolutely no chance at all. Now there's a little bit of a glimmer of hope.
They look really good. I think. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks, Ian. I'd like to say thank you to Ian and for his wonderful analysis. And as we mentioned already, next week is the Super Cup final between Sharjah and Al Nassr. We'll give our predictions on that, so we'll have a special show. So I don't know what else to say. Ian, have you got anything to say? I've just got to say, as Robert always said, ring the bell, give us a comment. We had a lot of comments last week, very much appreciated, and some feedback. It does help us. We're new to this. We don't do it for fame and fortune. We do it because we enjoy the league here. We love UAE Pro-League football. It really is a really wonderful league to watch, and that's why we're the only show that does an analysis in English.
Yeah, all I would say is really Al Jazira, Sharjah fans, get in touch. Who's going to win the league?
Al Jazira.
Who's going to be the Golden Boot? Will it be Wellington? Will it be Coronado? Could it be Lopez? Ali Maktoum? Who else is out there?
João
Figueroa, João Pedro.
Yeah.
Who's going to score the lead? So please let us know, get in touch, and we'll be back in touch with you. And just to finish off, we gave our goal of the week. We don't want to keep showing Bruno Lamas again. You saw the goal, absolutely. Lamas, is it Lamas? Yeah.
Bruno. He's having a phenomenal season. I think that's and Ramon there. Why Korfagan's playing so well. Yeah. Wonderful goal that Taeyeon gave a nice analysis of. And, so 2 weeks on the spot. Well done, Bruno. If you watch it, please watch his show. Yeah. Subscribe and give us a comment, Bruno. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Can he make it 3? Hat-trick.
That would be good. All right, thanks again.